Okay, welcome to today's next level session where we go next level with kvCORE and all your real estate marketing stuff. Replays are posted to insiderealestate.com/webinars. It's a YouTube playlist like you see up on the screen. Yesterday we did Microsoft PPC advertising. I had a lot of fun with that. Did anybody who was on yesterday, did anybody get an ad live on Microsoft? Just curious. I think it's a viable new frontier as far as traffic generation, not the same old Facebook and Google, which are getting more and more expensive. So definitely check out that session if you haven't had a chance to yet. If somebody could just confirm you can see my screen and hear me okay, I'd really appreciate that. Just chat in the box like, yep, YUP. Thank you, Pat. Patricia. I only see, Pat, it is Pat. I only see half your names. All right, thank you guys. All right, let's get to work. As always, you can chat your questions. You can, propose something that you'd like to have covered. I'm not going to take long on the main topic today, and that topic is listing servicing. I don't know if that's the right term. I think I've been using that term for years, which is basically just the things that you do to service your listing when you get a new listing. And of course, the last year or so, maybe 2-3 years, you haven't had to do much. Right? More of the stress came with the 15 offers you had to deal with and the negotiation, but you haven't had to sit around and have sellers calling you, asking you like, why isn't the thing sold yet? Because it was sold in 2, 3, 4 days. And I know some of that is still going on, but with the market showing signs of maybe normalizing, AKA crashing, not crashing, but normalizing a little bit, I thought maybe it might be fun for us to just have a session where we talked about the things we might do to promote a listing. And of course, we'll apply those things to how they might happen in the kvCORE system. So up on my screen here, what I have is kind of an idea, something you guys can do. I would be the first to admit that kvCORE is not super strong on action planning, the way that a top producer is and the way that some other products out there let you create like sequences around a listing. But it is possible to use the kvCORE campaigns feature to build yourself kind of a listing servicing menu. And of course, we do have our listing playbook as well. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But with the recent revamp in the campaigns, it has become much easier to do this sort of thing. So what you're looking at on the screen is me listing out probably we got about 10 tasks here that off the top of my head kind of would happen with every listing that I get, as an example, and probably that you get. I've added a few other things in here and I'll be adding more. But all I did is I went into the campaign module, I created a new campaign. So here's the module. I actually said, hey, I don't want a start trigger because the idea here is that this is going to be manually applied to either the contact who has the listing, or I can even see myself creating a contact that is basically the address of the listing. So I'll show that here in a second. So there's no real rules to trigger this because I'm always going to manually trigger it. And then it's designed for sellers. It's just called listing servicing tasks. There's nothing really complicated here in the configuration of this campaign. And I hit finish. And you'll notice that what I have in here is all tasks. So these tasks will show up from day to day for me to knock out in the system. Right? And I wonder if I can assign these. Can we reassign tasks? This is a question I have for myself, I guess, because I don't know if you guys know, but it might be cool if you could assign these tasks, or the contact, I guess, is what you would do to the person on your team who does all this. But anyway, just for the purposes, where it's just you, you create this like list of stuff, and then if we go in and we create a new contact, so let me just open a new page in kvCORE. So I'm gonna keep this one open. We'll do a quick action, add contact, and I'm just going to name this 123 Main Street. And the email will be 123 Main Street at foreverfloridarealestate.com. So you can give it like just a fake email, right? And you could say I only have the address. You can actually do that up here. I guess that would work too. 123 Main Street. There's too many 123 Main Street here. I'll use my home address just so that I'm not accidentally triggering anything to somebody. And then add contact. Yep. And then what I wanted to do to get the contact in here, you don't even need a name for it, but you might as well put the name in, is I'm going to go to more actions on the right side. and I want to assign a campaign. Wait a minute now. Oh, I forgot. That's no longer under the more actions, right? Where you assign the campaign, I think in the old version of kvCORE, that's how it was. Where you assign the campaign is you click add right here under campaigns, and then I'm going to look for my listing servicing campaign, which, bear with me guys, will only show up here, I assume, if I activate the campaign. So let me just go do that. I assume that's why I'm not seeing it. I'll refresh this page. So the campaign will need to be turned on. There's no rhyme or reason why I didn't have it turned on other than I just clicked the button earlier, but you only have to do that once. And then it should be available now in my dropdown. Yeah, there it is, listing servicing tasks. So I'll add that. And what that should do is it should schedule a bunch of tasks for me. Now, I don't see them loading up yet here. I'm going to refresh. Might take the system a minute to show them all. But it should show upcoming tasks for this contact because I put them on that plan, right? So going back to, after 1 minute, I should have a call and order photos task. I should have an order sign with kvCORE text writer, all that stuff showing up here. So I'm going to assume that the system just needs a minute for them to show on this panel. That's kind of a normal thing. kvCORE kind of caches things in order to be faster. So I'm gonna hope that that's what it's doing. If I come back to the home page, you see you always have your tasks right here. So those tasks from day to day would show up. I don't heavily use this now, but if I were using kvCORE to do tasking, I could always see them very easily, and it would kind of give me just a good view of everything I need to do in the system. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to kind of revisit that in a minute, but let's focus in now on the actual campaign actions that are mentioned here, and talk about a few of these, and how they kind of flow with kvCORE. And by the way, guys, if you want, I can share this campaign to you. If you want the task, but it's pretty easy for you to build it yourself. But call and order photos, right? We kind of know what that is. Easy enough. That's not something we could do with kvCORE currently. Order sign with kvCORE text writer. So I actually put a note in here. Text code can be found in a listing playbook. So some of this stuff, if you have an admin or somebody on your team doing it, or if you're doing it yourself, they'll just know how to do that, right? There'll be instructions, and you can even include the instructions in the details of the task, like right here. So you could even link to a YouTube video that shows them how to do it, right? If you really wanted to get granular and you're trying to build a system here for your business. But let's look at the listing playbook right here, which says promote a new listing on the main dashboard. Click start promoting for this listing, the one I have now, and then utilize custom text code. So you can see, just like that, kvCORE has created me a nice text code for this listing. So if somebody texts this to this, then the details about the property will be given. So that's an easy thing to do. We can order a new sign writer and put the text code on it. Now there's a little hack here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. If you find that you don't want to have to buy new writers every time for a new text code, what you could do is just buy like 4 writers that are like listing number 1, or like, like for Forever Florida here, we might do Forever 1, Forever 2, Forever 3. So you can keep reusing the same writers. And if you took that approach, then you would want to build your text codes in the smart number call and text capture section of the lead engine. So is everybody following what I'm saying there? So you could get a separate writer, but for my money, and I was talking to the broker here, Delia, Forever Florida, I was like, we're not using these text writers and we are missing out on tons of phone calls. I brought this up to her last week. She's like, well, yeah, but it doesn't matter because things were sold in a day. I could barely get the signs up anywhere. It hasn't been a concern. But now that things might sit on the market a little longer, think about all the neighbors walking by, walking their dogs, the dog's pooping on the fence post, right? They're bored. And the person's like, oh, I wonder how much this is. I can text for price and picks right now. And you're generating a neighbor with a cell number, right? Somebody who lives in a neighborhood who's walking by with a cell number, or just a buyer who's driving by who doesn't already live there. So I think, you know, in terms of listing servicing, this is a really good thing to do. Of course, we're all ordering signs, but try to get a text code on the rider. And makes it very easy to do here in kvCORE, either by using the listing playbook or by just using the text code builder. Okay. Add listing to MLS. I think we all know what that is, right? Some of this is just going to be the mundane stuff you have to do. Send just listed postcards. Hopefully someday kvCORE will have a way to do that natively. I'm hopeful. But you know, in the meantime, this task would just pop up. Notify other agents. This is one that is in the listing playbook. Now, going back to the send just listed postcards, you know, you could also give yourself a link to a site where you order.com, right? So if you always use the same service like Quantum Digital or whatever you're using, you know, you could put a link to that here. So it's very quick for yourself when a task pops up and you just click over and you go and you order your just sold cards. You can like kind of embed these little time savers into the system you're building here with the campaign. So notify other agents. Getting back to that, go back to our little playbook here, promoter listing playbook. And one of the actions in there is notify agents. So you can kind of choose your own office, like so. New listing announcement. It's kind of all written out for you, right? Hey guys, please show and sell, brah. Right, so do that. I could record them a quick core video. It's kind of cool. So if you have core video, I would just have to pop my core video in there, wouldn't I? There it is. So think about this inter-office or even to other agents, you know, through the listing playbook. You fire this bad boy up, you click add video. And I swear it's not a mullet. It's a Great Dane that bit my hat and it keeps looking like I have like a rat tail in the back. See it? All right, anyway, let's do this. Hey guys, it's Ryan. I got this new listing at 2926 51st Street South. Just want to let you know that it's awesome. Triplex, great investment opportunity. If you show and sell it, I got a little bonus for you just in our office. If you show and sell it, we'll go out and get absolutely wasted next Saturday. All right. So I'm having a little fun today, guys, but I think you get the point. Like you can put like, you do a personal video, record video, message all the agents in your office, offer them like a, you know, tell them we have an inner office, you know, $500 bonus, you know, if we sell it in-house or something. That might be controversial now that I say it, but you know where I'm going there. And you can use core video and the system will automatically just send this to all the agents in your office. You can also pick specific teams at your office and you can send it individually to a specific agent. And of course you don't have to do the core video, but I think that might be a fun, nice touch, right? Especially if you're doing like a broker's open. This would be a very useful tool and a time saver. So just an action there. So notify other agents. That's a built-in kvCORE thing you can do. Create a single property page with a URL. So again, you have some notes here. This is another one of those listing playbook things that is very easy. I believe if you go to digital promotion right here under the leverage social media, a squeeze page and a landing page are automatically generated. And I really like the landing pages that kvCORE builds through the listing playbook. I like the way they look out of the box. And I'll just show you. If I copy that, be honest with this latest listing, I totally forgot I had this, that this was in there. But look, that's a really nice quick page, right? You don't have to do any work. It's a nice single property page. It teases the listing. It doesn't give the price. Gives a couple of pictures, gives the picture in the background, and then it generates price and pics. It generates a lead for people who want to see price and pics. So now I can either kind of save this, I can send it to the seller to let them know I did it. So create a single property page. Be sure to send to seller, right? You have some notes in here to remind yourself of some best things you want to do. Attach to this, kind of like subtasks. And then optional, purchase a domain name and forward. So I can head over to GoDaddy and buy a quick domain name like 2926 51st .info, right, or something like that, and then forward it to this page. So that becomes very useful for marketing. For example, if I'm doing my just listed postcards, I might find that it's useful to have that domain that people can go to. I can put in the card. And you might even say, oh, okay, as you're building out the system, well, maybe my create a single property page with URL, maybe that step comes before my just listed postcards, because I'm going to need this for my just listed postcards. So I might just go to the just listed postcards task, and I'll set that to happen like a day later, so that this all starts to order out in the order I want. So you guys are quiet. Hopefully I'm not just talking to myself. I haven't seen a comment in a while. What do you guys think so far? Just about some of these ideas. Did you already know that kvCORE could do some of these things like notifying other agents, building that single property page? It's all useful. It's all in the system here. And if you do use, another system like a top producer for this aspect of your business, just integrate these things that kvCORE can do into those servicing plans. Great. Yeah. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks for the feedback, guys. Thank you, Anissa. Yeah. So yeah, you can kind of reorder the list by just setting the number of days, after it's triggered. Okay, next one is initial seller report email. This is another one that you can do and configure in the listing playbook. So type a name, you would type the contact name, right? So trying to get my name to pop up here. Right, so the name would pop up. As promised, here's a report. So I could actually send this to my brother right now. Oh, and also put your signature down there pretty nicely. That's pretty cool, right? Like so. Guess I wouldn't want my seller to get my call to action that says, click here to check your home's value now. I have this in my signature. So that's not a system thing, that's a me thing. Getting myself in a little trouble there. But then, yeah, you can click start emails and it'll mail the seller to let them know you're doing what you can to make sure the property sells. So it gives them some stats. So you configure that. Now that might be, I don't know if that sends on a regular basis. Does it send it like once a week? Huh. Yeah, I wish we had more documentation there, or is this a one-time send? This is what I don't know. It says start emails. Yes, I'm not sure on that one. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, you can set up either a one-time initial seller report or have it run. I would hope that that just runs weekly, right? Or you can set yourself a task to repeat here. It's not a repeating task, but you can set yourself, this specific task multiple times in the campaign. So I might set this for like 7 days later, this particular one. Okay, post listing to company socials. So this is a big one. It's kind of a small step, but it's an easy one to forget. And for the digital promotion section here, you can actually very quickly do that straight underneath the landing page build. So I can just click post. And this will, right now it's trying to share to my personal, but I can also share, on a page that I manage. So, I could choose the company page and post there directly from kvCORE. So you can do all your social posting right away, very quickly from the listing playbook. Run a property boost Facebook ad for the listing. We've gone over this plenty of times. You can go into Marketplace, or you can go into the listing playbook, and right here, there's the property boost option. It gives you a preview of what the ad looks like so. And I can just click the boost now up top, and it'll open up and run me a property boost. So let me pause for a second. I see a bunch of questions coming in. 1 second. Great, thanks for the feedback, guys. Janice is asking, is kvCORE statewide? You're at Berkshire and I use kvCORE. kvCORE is specific to the brokerages that purchased it. So, yeah. So, we have a number of Berkshire, of course, a lot of Berkshire offices using us, and lots of others too. How do you forward the new domain to the page? Oh, I was worried I was going to get that question. I actually made that video last night for something else, but the way that you forward your new domain is in GoDaddy or in whatever your domain registrar is, you will go in and there's always a section where you can set the forwarding URL. So I happen to use a kind of like a domain registrar that's made for people who have severe ADD and buy hundreds of domains. So it saves me some money. That's why I'm Domain Cost Club is what I'm in. But I just want to show you what it looks like here. And it looks very similar in all registrars. So I'll go to my domains. You guys are going to see some of my wacky ideas. And I just want to show, where's my 727realestatedeals.com. And then there's always going to be a section where you can forward. In this case, it is actually under the DNS settings in GoDaddy as well. So you'll see like DNS in GoDaddy. And then you just say, hey, I want to use domain forwarding. And then you put the URL of your page that's in kvCORE. So the landing page is generated, and you put that here for the custom domain that you bought. I would stay away from masked forwarding because in some cases it can break the tracking. I think you'll be safe in this specific example, but just be careful with that. If you do masked forwarding, just test it first to make sure it works. And masked forwarding is basically where, here, do save, where if I type in 727realestatedeals.com, the domain stays in my browser up top here instead of the kvCORE domain. It's a little cleaner. So Janice, the domain for the listing, is that an address for each listing? Oh, so what I was saying was you would go buy a .info or a cheap domain for every listing you get. You would actually buy that at the domain registrar and then forward it. But you don't have to do that. You can just use the link that you're given here. My point was to make it like prettier for marketing. This is a bunch of gobbledygook right here. So if I want to be able to say I want to do a video on YouTube, I can say, hey, go to 123mainstreet.info to get price and picks right now. If I'm doing Facebook videos and stuff, something that's human memorable for humans. The domain, the domain is just, you got it. It's just for one listing at a time. It's if you want a custom domain for your listing. It's not always necessary. If you're putting it on SignWriter, for example, especially you think about the listing. Like if you have a hunch it's going to sit for a while, it's a little higher end. You're trying to impress the seller. Well, go spend $8 on a domain or $10 on a domain at GoDaddy and forwarding it. It gives you another thing to have the seller feel like you're doing the work. And of course, it could generate you leads by putting it on the rider. So run a property boost. We talked about that. We have our just listed cards now appearing down here. We talked about that. Contact matching buyers. This is another thing that is in kvCORE. So you can actually automatically mail to buyers. I think kvCORE tried to find people in this smart list automatically. So so the kvCORE smart list is a list of all the contacts in your CRM who have a search alert that matches the criteria of your listing. That's pretty handy. So very quickly, I can just mail out details, right? It kind of gives some text here. Again, I would probably fire up a core video, go a little extra there, customize the messaging, and then you can schedule when you want the video to go out. So contact matching buyers, that's a kvCORE native thing. Schedule an open house. Oops. Hit it. So schedule open house, create the open house in the kvCORE open house app. So I actually don't have the ability on the fly right now to open that app up and show you guys, from my mobile phone and mirror it. But the kvCORE open house app is pretty nifty. It's a good way to collect leads and have people sign into your open houses. So you would, that task would involve everything around setting up an open house. Of course, you're gonna have to put the directionals out. You're gonna run an ad and do all this other stuff as part of running an open house, including setting up the open house app. And what you could do is inside of the task, you could have subtasks like create open house in the kvCORE app, run a property boost boost for the open house. Get directionals. I mean, you know, put in newspaper, knock on neighbors' doors. You know, all the stuff that that you might do around an open house. And then this will come up there. So this template, good question. This particular template is something I made today. So I created this actual campaign, but you can create your own campaign and add as much as you want. Now, I'll give you guys the share code if you want it, just to kind of get you started, and then you can edit what I have here. So this is the share code. Oh, yeah, and I'm just now remembering the share codes are like impossible to copy out of Zoom. So I'll put the share code underneath the YouTube video in the description when I upload it later. Okay, guys, so just, it'll be there. And then with the share code, you have the ability to make this, if you're an admin at your office, you know, a team leader, you could make this and then give the other agents on your team the same code for servicing their listings. But yeah, so there's lots of other things I haven't put on here yet. You know, like something I always like to do is take a video, need a video. And this is good. I'm showing you guys how to add a task. So I chose task, take a video of property. It's a little annoying. It kind of makes you put it 3 places. So that days, 1 day in. And then I might have another task, run video ad on Facebook and YouTube. We talked about this last week, I think. So I can run a paid traffic ad on Facebook and video of me doing it, YouTube of me doing a tour of the property. I'll do that like 4 days into the listing, maybe. And whatever else you might be doing, you know, newspaper, other print. So good question from Anthony. Can an agent without a listing use the listing playbook to promote a company listing? I thought yes, but maybe I don't want to say yes for sure until I try it. Right, so if I toggle to company listings, they're all right here. The kvCORE gives you this, the same way the property boost will let you kind of put any address in, but you still have to kind of defer to company policy or whatever local compliance is around this sort of stuff. So I wouldn't go promoting other people's listings, you know, but yeah, you can. It's there and easy to grab. And, you know, most brokers will probably say, yeah, have at it, because it's in the interest of the company, but yep. So that's kind of what I had today. You know, just, I guess the key takeaway is that you can build a campaign for your listing servicing plan. Here, I'm giving you some kind of example tasks that I might put in a plan. You guys can copy the campaign if you want. And then definitely do lean on some of that functionality in kvCORE to get some of this stuff done. There's a fair amount of functionality in there, really, when you think about it, you know, around listing promotion in the system. So great, Yanis. Yep. Okay, so let's transition. Does anybody have anything related to kvCORE or building your real estate business that you'd like to talk about now? Have some more time. We can do the Q&A portion of the webinar. And I might fumble around while I wait for a few comments. Look to see if I missed any texts. Just getting some texts on, see these 2926s? These are people who have texted in the last week about my listing. So each one of these is a cell number lead. That's good, Raphael. It's just taking a while. Yeah, it's in review. That makes sense. That'll take a little while. Janice, do you use a sample template? No, I don't really. I just kind of made those up. is there a good way to see a full email thread when responding to emails? Good question. I don't know if the whole thread shows up other than via the timeline of that person. So you should be able to see things that are happening on timeline, and you'll especially want to make sure that you link up your email if you want that happening. I think that's part of the equation there. So when you go into the contact record, all messages show up, all your sents, and I think responses will show up here. I think if you have your email tied up to the system, which you can do from the top right, and you can go to settings here. So I'm not syncing my email just right now, but if you synced your email, I think you would see the thread. And you can at least see it in your actual email client. Dash CMA is very cool. It's pretty powerful. Core Present is the evolution of that. So you'll either have access to Dash CMA or if your office has Core Present. But yeah, it's really powerful stuff. I used to have the add-on, but I'm not actively, I don't think I'm paying for it anymore. Raphael is asking about overlays on Property Boost. I don't know that you can. I think that's kind of a new feature that maybe they plan on adding more. It would be cool. I saw it the other day. It would be cool if you could add your own, right? But I don't think that's functional. Let's see. Raphael's talking about this right here. The just listed overlay. Yeah, it would be cool if we just added a handful more of those. Just listed, fixer upper, perfect condition, things like that, right? Starter home. Yeah. Social media apps for real estate. I'm not sure, other than just the normal social media like Facebook. I'm not sure what you mean, Janice. Is it referring to something that's in kvCORE, maybe that I'm missing? Have your own business. Like, is there a real estate specific social network? Nextdoor kind of comes close, but not really. There are groups for agents on Facebook, like our group. And this is asking if I have a blog page on my site. Is there a video on how to add a blog page? Well, there's a blog. The way that you access it, it's kind of buried. It's under your agent, and then you click blog. So you can, this will show you all the latest posts on this page. There's no kind of like on WordPress where you can add a blog page per se. There's not really that. If you wanted to do that, you could create a custom page and then manually put a link to each of your blog posts on there. So you might have a link in your navigation that says latest, and then just manually put a link every time you do a blog post. That's how I would do it. I'm not sure I have a video about that. Yeah, Raphael, I agree. Nextdoor might be a blue ocean. I have to get in there and try running an ad and learn about it. The blog posts, how are they searchable? Well, I agree. I don't know why it's so buried here. This is a thing for the product team to decide, but it should be more front and center, its own nav item. But blog posts do show up different places around the site. There is a blog search down in the bottom right here. And then I do think blog posts show up in property updates. There are different places where they appear as people browse your site. To add a custom tab, Linda, that is under Web and IDX section in kvCORE, and then website content, and then custom pages. And then what happens is the categories you add become a navigation item. So I can create a new category like blog. And then I can do blog post 1, blog post 2. So I would, have the title of the blog post, and I would link to the blog post here. But you would want to do this. I think you would need for that to be the only page in that category for that to work. Let me see if it worked. It's down here under this category because I've already used, I think you get 2 extra slots. So my blog shows right here in the bottom. This part of the navigation is certainly limited, but the way you create the new nav item is through the categories. I thought I could add another top level because I only have this stuff you might like, and then I did the blog, and I expected that to show up on its own tab in the navigation. But it did not. Yeah, this is my website that I'm showing, Janice, but the blog part itself probably has a lot of weird demo stuff that I do on these sessions. I personally, in general, for every venture I'm involved in, I just use YouTube as my blog for the most part. Actually, I want to check back here. That was bothering me a minute ago. I wonder if those tasks have shown up. For that campaign. Maybe because I had all of the tasks set to run the next day, maybe they show up tomorrow, now that I'm thinking about it. But I'm gonna lose sleep over that if I don't check on it. So where do I pull my foreclosures list from? I just use the search that's built in to kvCORE. So I build a squeeze link for these foreclosures. There's not a lot right now, of course, but you can search inside of the squeeze page builder section. So if I go to lead engine, build squeeze, and then I go to options down at the bottom, I think foreclosures still in here. Yeah, there we go. Foreclosures and short sales. So that's where I get it. So yeah, Janice, all the listings land on, they all land on kvCORE through the IDX feed. That happens automatically, but if you want to do individual blog posts about a listing, that's part of what the blog is for, or the custom page builder. Yeah, I think that would be really good if we made this navigation a lot more editable. I know there's been lots of requests for it because I expected this blog, since it was its own category, to appear up here, but it did not. I'm not sure why. You are able to do a quick import of contacts. Are you asking me to demo that? The only issue I might have there is I might not have the actual file with contacts in it. Let me see if I can find something. So right here, if you go to lead engine and you do the bulk lead import up top, you have the let us handle it option. So you could just submit the file to our team and they'll get it done for you. Or if you want to do it yourself, you click on the get started here. And then I would need to find myself a CSV file. Let me see if I get lucky and have something here. I'm not quite prepared for that because I don't have a CSV. Well, oh, how about this? I'll download the template file. Here's our template. Okay, so your file would have to have these sorts of things in it. Copy this to a new spreadsheet. Well, that wasn't easy. I need the template, but I have to do a bunch of work to the template in order to get this to the point where I can upload. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. All right, 1 second here. Who did this? Madness is this. Okay, I'm gonna have to copy this stuff. All right, I'll hit copy and I'll do file new spreadsheet. You caught me. I didn't have a file with a bunch of contact info in it handy, so I'm just using this one. Okay. Okay, file demo. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download my spreadsheet from Google Sheets as a CSV. So I'm going to download as CSV. And now when I'm back in kvCORE in my lead engine section and it goes to the point where I need to upload, I'll browse files and upload. There we go. There we go. And then it'll show the list of contacts, like so. I'll hit next. And then what it'll ask me to do is it'll match in kvCORE. It'll show all the kvCORE fields on the left side, and then it wants you to match it to the field in the sheet. So, like that. Hit next. And I'll proceed. Then it lets you let you know which contacts will be imported. You can add a hashtag, which I would recommend, and you can automatically add them to a campaign, and then you hit finish. And that's kind of it. The hardest part is in getting that CSV file ready to go. Good question from Janice. Do you have to upload Excel, or can you upload contacts to sync from your iPhone? That's kind of a different story, but the way to do it through the iPhone is through the Google Contacts sync, I believe. I think, oh boy. I have done a video about this in the past, but I wouldn't, it had to be 3 or 4 years ago. iPhone contacts. Let's see if we have it laying in the doc somewhere. So I know that you can, if you're using Gmail on your iPhone, I think the way you do it is you can make them become Google Contacts, possibly, and then you can sync the Google Contacts to kvCORE using this right here where the mail is, and you go to the settings, and then you have this option to sync contacts. That would be the easiest way to get your leads off of the iPhone. But I know there's documentation about the right way to do that somewhere. And I'll try to post it to the Facebook group after. I just can't remember or know where that is. It's not popping up quickly. So I'll have to ask internally at the company who's got the documentation on that. The name of the campaign I shared, Lisa, was Listing Servicing, I believe. Look. Listing servicing tasks. Technically, you're supposed to, again, a question, you're technically supposed to have permission to start mailing and calling, and texting people. So when you import, I think there's usually a a box that you check that says yes, I have permission. So yeah, there's some stuff around that. If they're people they're in your iPhone as contacts and you've done business with them before, I wouldn't be too worried about that. It's more like when you go and buy a list somewhere, and you just go into the system and you start texting people you've never interacted with, where it gets to be a problem. Yeah, Raphael. Yeah, so we do that import full service. So you could just have our team do it. Cool, good questions, guys. I don't think I got through everything. If I missed one, just you can repeat it, guys. If I missed something you typed in, there was a fair amount today, so I might have missed yours. But yeah, if there's nothing else, we can call it a day. And we'll be back next week, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. For the next session here. I'll just remind everybody, we do the quick start sessions Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's more of the kind of basics of kvCORE. And you kind of got caught the ADD all over the place next level session here, where we just jump from topic to topic. There's something new every day. Thanks, Raphael. Thanks for your feedback. And again, the replays are at insiderealestate.com/webinars. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Crispin. All right, we'll see you Tuesday. Everybody have a great weekend.